If you are able, please rise. Please continue to stand for the national anthem. Please be seated. The invocation today will be given by the Jewish chaplain and director of religious life, Rabbi Josh Jeffries.
Friends, let us pray. Fountain of life and blessing, transcending time, space, and even name, as we mark this transformative moment in the lives of our graduates, bless us with a heightened awareness of your ever-unfolding presence. Infinite oneness, as we gather from separate corners of campus and country, from around the city and around the globe, we come united in our multiplicity to celebrate these graduates and their accomplishments. Well of wisdom and discernment, we are grateful for those who have supported the class of 2025 on their journey. Teachers and mentors, friends and loved ones, we uplift and honor the spirit of inquiry that has enriched their lives and pray that their knowledge, skills, and strength may continue to nourish the lives of our community. Holy One who calls us to act justly, live righteously, and pursue peace, may we hold your teachings close to our heart. As these graduates enter the next phase of their lives, guide them to make every day count, and grant them the courage to persevere in service of the public good. Sustain their commitment to truth and justice, and help them to walk that path with honesty and humility, compassion, and grace. May they be partners in the work of building a world of justice and love, and may we all work toward a society that recognizes the divine spark within each of us, and toward a future where we all act in a manner that upholds the inherent worth and dignity of all creation. Let it be your will, and let us say, Amen.
Distinguished guests, colleagues, family members, friends, and class of 2025, I'm delighted to welcome you to the 153rd ceremony awarding degrees to graduates of the School of Law as part of the 2025 commencement of the University of Richmond. It's an honor to be here with so many outstanding graduates and to celebrate their achievements. Graduates, we're so proud of your knowledge, skills, and commitment to justice, which will empower you to make significant contributions to our society. It's also a pleasure to welcome the families and friends of our graduates. Thank you for providing the support, the encouragement needed to reach this milestone. I know you're as excited as we are to celebrate the culmination of many years of study. Finally, I want to express my deep appreciation to our staff and our faculty for their enduring contributions to our graduates' lives. Thank you for wholeheartedly embracing your roles as teachers, as scholars, and as mentors. Graduates, we applaud your passion, your determination, and your grace. Through scholarly work with faculty and bonds shared with classmates, you foster the deep sense of community that's a hallmark of Richmond Law. Thank you for all that you've contributed. We hope that your time here has been as fulfilling for you as it has been for us. Today, we recognize the individual and collective achievements of the class of 2025, and we look forward with great hope and anticipation for your continued accomplishments in the years ahead. I'm confident that your education has prepared you to make a difference in the world and in the lives of others, especially to promote justice and the common good. Thank you all, and congratulations.
On behalf of the faculty and staff of the law school, I too welcome you to the degree ceremony for the class of 2025. To the graduates, when I think of your class, the word resilience immediately comes to mind. Your law school journey began amidst the dust and noise of a major renovation. You entered a building in transition, but you remained focused. You adapted to the disruptions. You embraced the challenges. You demonstrated remarkable resilience. And in the end, you are the first graduating class to enjoy the fully transformed building. I hope you'll view this as a lesson in life and law, that perseverance through uncertainty often leads to something greater than you can imagine, and the challenges are not roadblocks. They're opportunities to build something better. I'm delighted to celebrate this occasion with you and certain that you will leave your mark on our profession and our society in meaningful ways. We now turn to our first speaker. In keeping with the tradition of active student involvement, we have the joy of hearing from Margarita Orozco. Before law school, Rita, yes. Before law school, Rita earned a Bachelor of Arts from the College of William and Mary, where she majored in government and minored in Russian and post-Soviet studies. During her time at Richmond Law, Rita achieved membership onto the Moot Court Board and served as secretary, where she helped oversee the 2024 Barnett and Carrico Moot Court competitions. She's interned for the Honorable Judge Randall G. Johnson, Jr. of the Henrico Circuit Court and with the Federal Public Defenders in the Eastern District of Virginia, where she used her third-year practice certificate to represent clients in federal court. Rita participated in the Richmond Law's Children Defense Clinic, served as Student Bar Association's Director of Programming, and has an avid interest in international and criminal law. I'm very pleased to introduce Rita.
Thank you. Richmond Law, it is my utmost honor to speak here today. I use the word honor with great weight because I am here before you and your loved ones, honoring and celebrating what we have done these last 3 years and what we will do in the future. I especially want to thank Dean Perdue for the kind introduction and for allowing me to address you all today. When I was first tasked with writing this speech, I had a hard time finding the words to express my gratitude and the amount of growth we all experienced together. It's as if we were shoved into a time capsule and came out 3 years later as the same yet completely different people. I imagine standing before you, struggling to convey our law school experience. Should I tell the story of our lessons, where we learn the law, how to think about it, and where to find it? Should I recount the many trials and tribulations? Should I share all the highs and lows of law school? I try to think of a way to balance it all, as if I was weighing these lessons on the scales held up by Lady Justice herself. Ultimately, I thought of our different experiences, but our one shared journey that brought us to this very moment, and the words became clear. I want to tell you all the story of Richmond Law's class of 2025, or at least the Quimby version. This is a rich story with a diverse yet exciting cast of characters that taught me the message of balance, a message we can carry into both our professional and personal lives from here on out. First, I thought of you all, the people. The people who were once strangers, classmates who I happened to sit next to or run into in the hallways from 1L until now. These strangers would become my friends, and my friends have many strengths. They can litigate, they can write, they know the law, they participate, and they care. My friends are well-rounded people. People with many hobbies and interests in music, crafting, hiking, dancing, reading and writing, and the list can go on and on. My friends are hungry people, wanting to experience the most in life and ready to jump after it. My friends are kind. They feel for others' pain and happiness as if it is their own. My friends inspire me. The class of 2025 showed me that you can be all of these things. All of us made the same decision to attend this law school, study the law, and pursue it in some form, and we all shared that journey. Next, I think of our professors, academic giants in their field, who as a 1L, I was scared to even approach. These professors would become mentors to us, people with layered lifestyles who showed us that you can practice the law, teach it, and also have a life outside of it. I think of my mentors, judges, lawyers, and other professionals that I had the pleasure to intern or work for, who showed me that to excel in any field, you must have an outlet away from the work. I think of our loved ones sitting here today or watching from afar, our support system that got us through the last 3 years. They may not have had any idea of what we did here or fully understood the unique struggles we faced, but their love and support never wavered in us, even when we doubted ourselves. And now I think of the courtroom. Any courtroom in your mind's eye will do. I think of the judge's bench, the witness stand, and the jury box. Before law school, this was a place I'd only known in the movies. It was a place for the drama and theatrics, but for many, it was a reality of guilt and punishment. Now, as my time in law school has come to its end, the courtroom has become synonymous with balance. Guilt or innocence, punishment, but also freedom, fear and liberation. To me, it has become a place for the science of the law, adherence to the rules and the laws themselves, but it also allows for creativity and the practice of law as a form of art and story. Personally, my favorite stories are character-driven. By that, I mean that the people drive the narrative. And the class of 2025 is comprised of a group of people who have driven my narrative and who have changed me forever. Let me set the stage. Fall semester 2022, it's a warm, humid August day. We all walk through the old wooden doors of Richmond Law for our first classes. Maybe you were early, so nervous that you couldn't sleep, so you decided to head to school an hour before class started. Maybe you were right on time. You reached out to the new friends you made during orientation and coordinated when to get to class. Or maybe you were, like me, running late to civil procedure because you didn't know what it was or where it was. For a bit of context, after graduating college, I worked as a bartender for a few years while I tried to navigate the job market during a pandemic. So in the fall of 2022, when I stepped through those Richmond Law doors, I had quite a chip on my shoulder. I was quiet and reserved, kept my head down, and minded my business. I was here to study the law and the law alone. However, in the last 3 years, my classmates melted my iciness, brought me out of my shell, and taught me to experience the law and life like I never had before. In our first year classes, we learned that there is the letter of the law and the spirit of the law too. The letter can only be as successful as the spirit behind it. That is what makes each argument, each trial, each client interaction different. These two things are always in the balance, and somewhere in the middle, in that sweet spot, do we find effectiveness. Beyond that, we experience something I like to call the letter of life and the spirit of life too. When someone tells our story, that is the letter of life. Our past and our future, our failures and our triumphs, our loves and our traumas. Our stories on paper. But the spirit, our spirit, that's the interest, the hunger, the kindness, and the inspiration that I mentioned earlier that we all carry within us. To be truly human and to retain our humanity in the work that we do, you need to find that balance, that sweet spot between the letter and the spirit. Now, this reminds me of my favorite pieces of art, Avatar: The Last Airbender, the Nickelodeon TV show, not the movie. In a world where people are able to control one of the four elements, earth, fire, air, and water, only the Avatar can master all four elements. Aang, the Avatar, is a young airbender, the last of his kind, who must save the world from the Fire Nation. While training for his eventual fight against the Fire Lord, he struggles to master the element of earth because of his past. In his moment of weakness, he is told, "You must gain balance within yourself before you can bring balance to the world." We have to learn to balance all of these aspects of ourselves, our morals, our career, our friends, our family, our pasts, and our passions, before we can set out and enact change, create our futures, and forge our legal paths in the world. Without realizing it, we will find that sweet spot between the letter and the spirit, and if you ever get knocked down from your equilibrium, I hope that you find this message the same way you all showed it to me. The story of the class of 2025 is nonlinear. We shared space and time, some classes, and many free lunches, but we also took different classes, had different internships and externships, and we sit here today with different goals. For all of us, life kept going outside of law school too. As we tried to bring our best to class every single day, sometimes the world pulled us out and put our studies on pause. Sometimes we paused to celebrate, other times to mourn, and everything else in between. These experiences kept us human and served to remind us of the reason the law matters and why we are here, for the people, whether it be our clients, our community, or ourselves. I'd like to share a little slice of that story from my own perspective. A few months ago, my mother was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. I was truly knocked off my equilibrium while I tried to navigate these last few months while finishing my classes. When I felt truly lost, my classmates, my professors, my law school staff, and even some loved ones sitting here today supported my family and I during this time. While you all had taught me the lesson of leading a balanced life, I had only applied that to when things are good. When things got bad, when I fell and lost my balance, when my equilibrium was pushed off kilter, and when I veered off the path, my class, my friends, were there to bring me back again, and I regained my bearings. This lesson of balance was one my mother always tried to instill in me, and in these last few months, she saw that I finally learned it. I know she can rest easy, knowing that I have surrounded myself with my classmates, the future of the legal profession, and people who I truly admire. Thank you to my class and law community for teaching me these lessons and for all that you've done for my family and me. In a few moments, we will share one more milestone together. We will walk across this stage and be handed our diplomas. Another chapter will have closed in the story of our lives, and when we make our next steps, adding to the letter of our lives and the letter of the law that we practice, please remember your spirit in order to maintain the balance. The spirit that propelled you to apply to the University of Richmond, the spirit that got you through this 3-year endeavor, the spirit that gives you your interests, your hunger, your kindness, and your passions, the same Spirit that made us friends and the Spirit you showed to me. I could go on, raving about my class of 2025. I am so fortunate that I got to spend the last 3 years with you all, learning the law, learning about the world, and about each other. We all have different pasts, perspectives, and passions that will shape our futures, and I'm so excited to see what we all do. Thank you for this opportunity, Richmond Law, and congratulations to the class of 2025.
Thank you, Rita, for sharing those beautiful reflections. Each year, students from the graduating class also select a member of the faculty to speak to them at commencement. This year's faculty speaker is Jack Preis. Professor Jack Preis is an expert in civil rights litigation. He's published widely in the field and regularly represents victims of government abuse at the trial and appellate level, usually in cases involving police excessive force or mistreatment of incarcerated persons. While a law professor, Preis has argued before the United States Supreme Court, as well as the 4th, 9th, and 11th Circuits. His scholarship has appeared in the Virginia Law Review, Notre Dame Law Review, and the Indiana Law Review, among other venues. Professor Preis teaches, or has taught, torts, civil procedure, legislation and regulation, federal courts, constitutional torts, and remedies. It's a long list. In addition, he teaches a course of his own design titled Civil Litigation Fundamentals. The course pulls together the most common strands of law and practice involved in civil litigation, including torts, contracts, jurisdiction, pleading, discovery, evidence, choice of law, motions practice, remedies, statutes of limitation, insurance, enforcement of judgments, and appeals. It sounds like an entire law school curriculum. Preis obtained his BS from Cornell University, where he studied agricultural economics. After working as a commodity trader for several years, Preis attended Vanderbilt University School of Law, where he served as editor-in-chief of the Vanderbilt Law Review. It gives me great pleasure to introduce my colleague, Jack Preis.
Greetings, class of 2025. To see you all sitting here is truly incredible. Never in a million years did I, or any of the faculty really, think you'd make it this far. But thanks to a B+ grading curve, here you are. I'm just kidding, just kidding. The truth is that you got here with hard work, incredibly hard work, during your first and your second years of law school. Can you even remember that far back? When I think about your past 3 years, my mind often turns to one of those summer camp movies. You know the type. A bunch of kids from all over the place find themselves at a summer camp in the woodsy Northwest and somehow have to find a way to get along. The cast of characters is motley. There's the jock, the rich kid, the computer geek, and so on. And the plot is mainly a series of pranks and mishaps, followed by some epic competition between good and evil, one in which the campers always prevail. Now, I don't imagine the past 3 years have felt like summer camp to you, but to me, there's some similarities. I recognize the jocks, those guys in your class who are trying to relive their high school glory days through intramural softball. We have the rich kids too, which means all of you with $50,000 or less in debt. We have the computer geeks, including the person here who successfully catfished me into giving him control over all of my Blackboard courses. We have the wacky hijinks, Like the April Fool's prank in which the Law Review italicized all the commas in one of its articles. And of course, we have the epic contest between good and evil, a contest in which students are called upon to raise high the torch of justice in the valley of darkness. I speak, of course, of the Blue Book competition, a competition that students have never won. As trite as they can be, there is a part of summer camp movies that do pull on my heartstrings. I'm thinking here of a specific moment, a mere 6 words of dialogue, in fact, that usually comes at the end of the movie. It's the last day of camp, and everyone is packing up their things, promising to stay in touch, and then heading home. But then we see 2 campers standing face to face outside a cabin. When they arrived weeks ago, they were strangers and even suspicious of each other. But the intensity of the experience somehow melted the ice between them, somehow gave them a new way to see each other and a new way to see themselves. And then one of them says those 6 words. So, I guess this is goodbye. That word goodbye has a power to it that we often underestimate. To say goodbye is to mark the end of something, which suddenly forces us to think about what is ending. The word pulls to the present all that has happened in the past. The highs, the lows, the late nights, the rainy mornings, the contagious laughter, the quiet longing. A proper goodbye contains multitudes. It is a single word, but also a poem, a novel, a song. So looking at our time together, it is worth asking, what novels have been written? What songs have been sung? There are too many to count. Each of us knows dozens and dozens, but allow me to share a couple I have seen. One is about your classmate. You may not know her, and she may not even know herself, but the truth is, she is amazing. It's not her grades, and it's surely not her writing. It's the way she cannot be kept down. Way back when, while we were all talking about constitutional law and contracts, she was weathering a storm of doubt and fear. Like somebody tipping over the edge of Niagara Falls, headed for dark and cold waters. While she nodded at us quietly in the hallways and classrooms, we had no idea she was underwater, holding her breath, trying to hang on just a bit longer. But one day, some strange force, either from the center of the earth or the center of her, launched her upwards. She pushed through the water's surface and took a huge breath of air. She looked about herself, quietly taking in the sound and the smell and the feel of the water. And she knew then that, forever on after, she could swim in these waters. Later, she nodded at you again in the hallway, but this time she smiled a bit, the way people do when they have an ace up their sleeve. Another story I know is about a man sitting up there in the back. He is the father of one of you, and goodness, he is proud. He has wildly exaggerated your talents since birth. And on the plane ride to Richmond 2 days ago, he told the person sitting next to him that one day you would be president of the Supreme Court. As much as he loves you, however, he never knew that law school threw you for a loop, never knew that it left you down at the bottom of Niagara Falls, holding your breath and wondering which way was up. If he'd known, he'd try to help. But you and he both know that he probably couldn't have fixed anything. You've got your own life, and that's okay. You came into his world decades ago and lit up his sky like a streaking comet. But comets have their own orbits, and he can see that you are moving on, that you must move on. Still, he wonders, When shall that precious light circle back to him? He cannot change your orbit, and he would not dare try to, but he fears, like you once did, the darkness and the cold. There is another story I know about a guy in your class. You might know of him, but you probably don't know him well, because his struggle has always been fitting in. So many times in law school, he's wanted to walk out that door, run down the street, get on a bus, and then a plane, and then a rocket, and go so far away there will be nothing around that he even has to fit into. He made it into his second year through sheer force of will, and one day found himself across the table from this other student. She made him more nervous than most because she seemed to understand him more than most. She seemed to see the anxiety he lived with. They chatted for a bit, and he relaxed just a touch. And then she took a risk, stepped across the line, and told him, "Hey there, I've got this card. It's an ace. Maybe you can play it." He never played the card, never had to after that, and he sits here today, not far from her. A final story that I have seen is your engagement with ideas. Justice is an idea, and so is fairness and equality and freedom. And so too are oppression and fear and vengeance. You have encountered these ideas and many more, much as you have encountered each other. Indeed, coming to know an idea is often like coming to know a person. There are times when an idea is like a newfound lover. It inspires you, delights you, makes you feel like you can conquer the world, as though you have an ace up your sleeve. And there are times when an idea reveals its selfishness. It demands from you strict obedience and leaves you isolated and lonely, as though you were floating downriver towards the falls. Your lot over the past 3 years, much as our nation's, has been to figure out which ideas are good and which ideas are bad. Such work is immeasurably hard, but immeasurably important. If today you are still unsure of your answers, you have not failed. Just as people do not fail if they are unsure whom to take as their partner. What matters most of all is that you have come to see ideas, like people, as forever worthy of your passions. And so, as we sit here together in this room on the afternoon of May 10th, 2025, I guess this is goodbye. It is not goodbye to everyone, and it is not goodbye forever. But it is goodbye to law school. It is goodbye to a world formed within and between all of you, a world that has never existed before and will never exist again. There will be new and wonderful worlds for all of us, but for now, let us bid farewell to this one. Goodbye and good luck.
Thank you, Professor Preis, for your insights and your many contributions to the law school. Joining us for this happy occasion is Samuel L. Tarry, Jr., who graduated from Richmond Law in 1994. Mr. Tarry is the hiring partner for litigation at McGuire Woods. He's co-leader of McGuire Woods Product Liability and Mass Torts Practice Group, a member of the firm's Trial Practice Steering Committee, and a past chair of the Products and Consumer Litigation Department. For more than 3 decades, he's represented clients in tort, environmental, and public health litigation in state and federal courts across the country. A fellow of the International Academy of Trial Lawyers, he's won jury trial verdicts in 10 states and successfully managed substantial dockets of cases to resolution. Please join me in welcoming Sam Tarry.
On behalf of the Richmond Law Advisory Board and you, our alumni near and far, I am pleased to welcome you as our newest alumni. Your achievements as students have made Richmond Law stronger, and as graduates, you'll continue to uplift the school through your work, leadership, and service. We're incredibly proud of you and are cheering you every step of the way. I encourage you to stay involved in the Spider Network as you move forward. Connect with your fellow alums, support each other, and stay engaged with Richmond Law. The more you give to this community, the more it will give back to you. I look forward to meeting each of you and want to congratulate you on this accomplishment. I'm also pleased to be able to introduce my fellow alum. Today's commencement address will be given by Stephanie E. Grana. Stephanie Grana is a partner at the personal injury law firm of Cantor, Grana, Buckner, Bucci, where she has dedicated over 30 years to advocating for individuals and families across Virginia. A proud double spider, Stephanie earned her undergraduate degree from the University of Richmond in 1990 and her JD from Richmond Law in 1993. Widely recognized for her outstanding results and commitment to justice, Stephanie has been named to the Super Lawyers list every year since 2007. She has also earned repeated spots on its list of the top 100 super lawyers in Virginia, top 50 women super lawyers in Virginia, and top 50 women super lawyers in Richmond. In 2019, Stephanie received the Civility and Professionalism Award from the Virginia Association of Defense Attorneys. Stephanie remains deeply involved in the legal community. She's currently an active member of the Virginia Trial Lawyers Association, the Virginia chapter of the American Board of Trial Advocates, the American Association of Justice, and the Commonwealth Community Trust Board of Directors. She serves as the secretary on the board for Community Brain Injury Services and served as a member of the Boyd Graves Conference for 13 years. Stephanie's leadership roles are equally impressive. She is a past president of the Virginia State Bar, the Virginia Trial Lawyers Association, the Virginia chapter of the American Board of Trial Advocates, the Lewis F. Powell Jr. American Inn of Court, and the Metropolitan Richmond Women's Bar Association. She also served as chair of the Commonwealth Community Trust. In addition to her trial work, Stephanie is frequently invited to speak at conferences around Virginia on topics including personal injury litigation, brain injury, trial practice, jury selection, and medical malpractice. She has secured over 85 verdicts and settlements exceeding $1 million, a testament to her expertise and relentless advocacy. Her expertise also led to her invitation to serve as a faculty member for the Virginia State Bar Harry L. Carrico Professionalism course for a 3-year term from October 2023 to September 2026. Outside the courtroom, Stephanie's been married to fellow attorney Scott Bemberis, who's also a double spider, for over 27 years. Together they have 3 children, Nicole, Garrett, and Dakota. Please join me in welcoming my friend Stephanie Grana.
Everyone needs a walk-up song, even if it's in your own head. As a Double Spider alum, it's an honor and a privilege to be with all of you this afternoon, so thank you. First and foremost, congratulations to the class of 2025. Best wishes for all the incredible opportunities and successes that your futures hold. Second, thank you for inviting me to share my thoughts this afternoon. I never imagined that I would be standing here once again at a University of Richmond Law School graduation, especially since my daughter Nicole chose to attend William & Mary Law School. And of course, I would be remiss if I did not also extend my heartfelt congratulations to the faculty, families, and guests who have supported you along this journey. Law school is not easy, and success is never achieved alone. Everyone needs guidance and encouragement. That will be especially true as all of you move forward with your preparation for the bar exam. My advice, stay focused, you got this. I also want to add a special recognition to Dean Wendy Perdue for her years of dedicated service. Your leadership, time, and unwavering commitment have made a lasting impact on both current students and alumni. We are incredibly grateful. In preparation for today, I reached out to friends and colleagues. Naturally, as a lawyer, my circle is full of other lawyers. And of course, being lawyers, they all had advice on what I should say. The consensus: pick a theme, express gratitude, be personal, but don't make it all about me. Incorporate humor, emotion, inspire, but don't bore them. And most importantly, conclude quickly. Duly noted. 2025 is an exciting year to graduate. You are entering the legal profession during a time of challenges and rapid transformation, but also at a time when the world needs smart, ethical, and courageous lawyers more than ever. Your dedication, integrity, and intellect will help shape the future of justice and the rule of law. As a longtime fan of The Late Show with David Letterman, and please tell me y'all know who he is, I wanted to share a top 10 list. That is, the top 10 things I wish I had known at my own law school graduation. Y'all ready? Number 10, plan for your future. Planning for your future is so much more than financial discussions, and I'm certainly not the person to offer any financial advice. What I'm referring to here is the creation of your vision. Don't settle for the status quo. Take a moment to envision what you want to be in 1, 3, 5, and 10 years, and write it down. This isn't just a wish list. It's your personal GPS, your blueprint for navigating life's twists and turns. It will not be flawless. Potholes and detours will arise. Wrong turns will happen, and failures will test you. But failure is not a dead end. Rather, it's a powerful teacher. Learn from it, adjust course, have a plan that provides clarity and keeps you focused on actionable steps towards your goals, no matter how big or small. Strive for progress, not perfection, and be persistent. In 1943, Antoine de Saint-Exupéry wrote The Little Prince, a book widely used in education, not only for teaching the French language, but also for its richness in life's lessons. My greatest takeaway: a goal without a plan is just a wish. So set goals, but more importantly, create the plan that turns them into your future reality. Number 9, market yourself from day one. Make a fresh start in your new firm, corporation, or office, and make yourself invaluable. Highlight your strengths, whether it's your tech skills, research expertise, or meticulous editing. Whatever it is, own it and let others know what you can do. Number 8, keep track of your work, not your resume, your actual legal work. Recently, I was asked to complete a list of all the trials I've handled over the years, and I realized something. Those cases that I thought I would never forget, I did. So make a list. Document your mediations, your arbitrations, your mergers, deals, briefing, results. Anything significant, trust me, you will thank yourself later. Number 7, seek out mentors early and often. There will be days when the weight of legal responsibility and the struggles of your clients feel overwhelming. You will face setbacks, challenges, and dark days, both personally and professionally. At these times, your mentors will matter most. They will be the light leading you back, offering wisdom that transcends professional experience, perspective, and reassurance that every challenge is temporary and every setback is an opportunity for growth. As lawyers, your clients will seek you out when they are in need, often at some of the most problematic and vulnerable moments of their lives. This is an immense responsibility. It can feel heavy, but it is also profoundly life-affirming. You will have the privilege of being their advocate, their voice, their counselor, and their protector. You will shape lives, correct injustices, and offer hope when others feel lost. But just as your clients turn to you, you must turn to your mentors, your colleagues, and your support system. No one navigates this profession alone, nor should they. Find your mentors early, lean on them often, and someday be that guiding force for someone else. Number 6, be prepared to reinvent yourself. Often, our jobs early in our careers can serve as the best teachers, not just in terms of basic skills, but in helping to illuminate what truly drives you. Knowing what you don't want to do is just as valuable as discovering your passion. Within those experiences, you will have gained insight, established relationships, and developed skills that will serve you in unexpected ways. And when it's time to pivot, that's okay. There's something invigorating and exciting about stepping into the unknown and embracing new opportunities. Your legal careers will evolve. Your interests may shift, and thankfully, our profession is broad enough to accommodate change. Growth often comes from your willingness to adapt. Number 5, don't stress the small stuff. The work will get done. Law can be intense, but perspective is everything. You will face deadlines, obstacles, and computers that I assure you hate you. Handle what you can, take a deep breath, seek out professional help as needed, and keep moving forward. Jim Valvano, the well-known American basketball player, coach, and broadcaster, shared this quote in his emotional speech at the ESPYs in 1993, given shortly before he died from cancer. And I quote, "To me, there are 3 things we all should do every day of our lives. Number 1 is laugh. You should laugh every day. Number 2 is think. You should spend some time in thought. Number 3, you should have your emotions move you to tears. Could be happiness or joy. If you laugh, you think, and you cry, that's a full day. That's a heck of a day." Number 4, lawyers are leaders. Do your part. Give back to your profession, your community, and beyond. I encourage you to take the lead in Virginia's Access to Justice Commission to ensure equal access to the underserved populations in Virginia, or to provide pro bono legal services to ensure that low-income individuals still have access to justice. Every contribution you make has the potential for meaningful change. I first started out at the Virginia Trial Lawyers Association in the Young Trial Lawyers section, and then I moved my way up. Within the Virginia State Bar, I started out on the District Disciplinary Committee and the Future of Law Practice Committee. and then I moved my way up. Within the women's bar, I started simply by attending monthly lunches, and then I moved my way up. You see a little bit of a pattern. You can also lead outside the law by coaching a local sports team, becoming a soccer referee, serving as an election poll worker, joining the PTA, participating in your homeowners or neighborhood association, acting as a deacon in your church, or volunteering at a homeless shelter. Number 3, we're getting there. Your reputation matters. Treat everyone with respect and kindness. The receptionist, the paralegal, secretary, opposing counsel's office staff, and especially the folks in the clerk's office and the bailiffs in the courtroom. The goodwill you generate will come back to you. You will find this to be true, especially when you need something done yesterday, when the printer stops working, when you're running late for a delivery, or when you need someone to stay late at the office to finish discovery. Your reputation includes your word. Make good on your promises or explain why you can't. As the saying goes, promise only what you can deliver and deliver more than you've promised. Number 2, make time for life. Joseph Story was an Associate Justice of the United States Supreme Court, serving from 1812 to 1845. The following quote was attributed to him back in 1829. "The law is a jealous mistress, and it requires a long and constant courtship. It is not to be won by trifling favors, but by lavish homage." Despite this infamous aphorism indicating that the law requires constant attention and devotion, I'm also here to tell you that you can be a lawyer and a spouse of 27 years. You can be a lawyer and a parent of 3 adult children who are here today with me, and all of you. You can also be a lawyer and a caregiver and a friend to your mom. You can also be a lawyer and best-selling author. Shout out to Karina Lane. And you can be a lawyer and a healthy, well-balanced human being. And all of you should be all of those things. The key is to develop good habits early and to find your own version of balance. What has worked for me will probably not work for you, and that's okay. I was recently called the attorney who doesn't sleep by Super Lawyers, a legal publication. While that title might suggest that I somehow have more hours in the day, the reality is that I'm simply highly productive and I do stay up way too late. But let me be clear, that is not good for anyone. The real takeaway is not about working longer or harder. It's about working smarter, setting appropriate boundaries, and prioritizing what truly matters. I've been a practicing attorney in Virginia for 32 years now, and simply put, I love what I do. It's an honor and a privilege to represent injured clients and their families. But even with passion, this profession is demanding, relentless, and often overwhelming. While I wouldn't trade my calling for anything, I know that our most valuable asset is our well-being. Our health and our personal lives matter just as much as our professions. So don't forget to do what rejuvenates you. Whether it's pro bono legal work, volunteering at your church or local community organization, walking, running, yoga, Pilates, golfing, pickleball, travel, or simply spending time with family and friends. Make time for it from day one. Balance is not something you find later in life when life slows down. It's something that you must build from the start. Prioritizing well-being, volunteerism, family, and personal passions early on will make all the difference in longevity and fulfillment in your personal lives. And the number one thing that I wish I had known in law school at my own graduation is please have fun. Transform those legal conferences or boring CLEs into opportunities for reconnection. Turn them into dinner with family and friends that you haven't seen from your law school class because you're now in different locations. Bring your family along to meetings and make it a vacation. Over the years, my 3 children, now adults, attended many a cocktail party while in car seats or strollers. For better or worse, my husband could not help but smile when our children chose the Homestead Resort over the Great Wolf Lodge for a pre-Christmas family vacation, a true testament to the experience they had shared with us at legal meetings. So celebrate the milestones, embrace the journey, and finally, congratulations, graduates.
Thank you for your remarks, Ms. Grana. In April, we held the 3rd annual awards ceremony to recognize and celebrate our graduates who have received special honors and awards. Award recipients, as well as descriptions of the awards, can be found inside your program. At this time, would those graduates who received an award please stand to be recognized? Congratulations to all of you. You may be seated.
Graduation is a very special occasion. It's an opportunity to recognize those who've completed the requirements of our faculty and fulfilled the expectations of our entire university community. Our warm congratulations to all members of the University of Richmond School of Law class of 2025. I now call on Provost Dr. Joan Saab.
All right. Will the graduating class please rise if you are able? Mr. President, on behalf of the faculty of the University of Richmond School of Law, I have the honor to present these candidates for the degree of Juris Doctor.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees and upon the faculty's recommendation of completed requirements, I confer upon you the degree of Juris Doctor of the University of Richmond with all of the rights, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining thereto. Congratulations.
Will the graduating class please come forward to receive your diplomas?
We now recognize the graduates with the Juris Doctorate degree in January 2025, Tata Annie L. King. We now recognize the graduates for the Juris Doctorate degree for May 2025, Keshav Agarwal. Chiara Paula Sukaina Asgari. Rhiannon DeLay Bachelor. Cameron A. Baxter. Samuel D. Bianco. James Grady Biggs. Melody DeCastro Bohannon. Michael Cameron Burkholder. Aubrey Caroline Bouchard. Caroline Elizabeth Brady. Kevin Lester Byrne. Molly Ann Catherine Kalo. Rebecca Joy Carico. Adriana Elizabeth Carpenter. Caitlin Cassette Dowling Carroll. Haley Jeanette Sarah Tanney. Rose Mi Chang. Savannah L. Clendening. Sydney Aline Coker. Jesse Partridge Cook. Nathan James Crispo. James P. Dennehy. Lauren Nicole Dillon. Caitlin Patricia Dobbins. Audrey Cecilia Dodds. Sean P. Dwyer. Catherine Grace Elliott. Jack Ellis. Madison Faison Hardgrave. Sophie Caroline Fields. Ashley Heather Fine. Zachary Evan Finnelt. Alejandro Jose Garcia, Jr. Elizabeth Alexandra Garrity. James Jackson Geary. Sarah Teresa Gopelman. Gwendolyn Joy Goodyear. Victoria Lee Hagarat. J. Michael Hale. Katie Elizabeth Hall. Garrett Action Handigan. Grana Elizabeth Harmon. Alyssa Grace Harrison. Cora Ann Heinzen. Ashlyn Elizabeth Hilburn. Adam Johns Howard. Moses John Hutchison. Alexia Isabella Inge. Andrew Scott Gordon Jacobs. Connor W. Johnson. Nicholas K. Nadine Kalouf. Caroline Elizabeth Kropka. Joseph Allen Lippum. Kimberly Sue Lowe. Matthew Anthony Manella. Alan Martin Massey. Miriam Kelly Mays. Lila Marguerite Elise McDermott. Audrey Mickelrath. Catherine Grace Manello. Anthony Thomas Moran. Callan Marie Morrison. Mateo Ryan Morell. Samuel J. Naramore. Hannah Anise Nemenik. Joseph Mosby Noser. Margarita Orozco. Jacob Alexander Oswald. Jared Randolph Idris Outlaw. Eleni Isabella Paraskevopoulos. Yoon S. Park. Catherine Ann Pearson. Christopher Alexander Pellegrino. Kristen Marie Peterson. Brian J. F. Platt. Ryan Gaylord Picorni. Joseph Christian Probus. Ajaz Rahman. Jamie Reese Darlene Robertson. Benedict Andreas Romer. Hannah James Romero Revolcaba. Tyler R. Roy. Austin Halliburton Rutter. Carol A. Rutter IV. Rebecca Marie Seeger. John Sidney Sherwood. Emma Yuan Silverman. Kelsey Jane Simpson. Jesse Singh. Lindsay Elizabeth Slusher. Daniel Merriweather Smith. Magdalene Grace Staples. Sita Mohandi Stewart. Magnolia Kaylee Stewart. Jack James Sullivan. Amanda Rachel Teppo. Catherine Anne-Marie Threet. Savannah Nicole Throneberry. Laura Michelle Ugaldi. Kelly Doyle Vance. Natalie Maureen Wade. Peyton Leah Ward. Everett Tucker Weiser. Suzanne Michael White. Emma Van Kirk Wilson. Alberto Jesus Rey. Jorge Mauricio Zagara. The following candidates are receiving their degrees today from various family members who are alumni or parents of the University of Richmond. Will those individuals please join your graduate at this time? Jacob Ryman French, presented by his cousin, the Honorable William Logan, Richmond Law, class of 1973. Jonathan Adam Brooks, presented by his cousin, Joanne Fry, Richmond Law, class of 2004. Catherine Sane Candilas, presented by her parents, Michael and Martha Candilas, Richmond Law classes of 1987 and 1988. Catherine Pennington Lafayette, presented by her father, Michael Lafayette, Richmond Law, class of 1989. Carly Brooke Lester, presented by her mother, Janine Koch, Richmond Law, class of 1994. and Avery Suzanne Eunice, presented by her brother Jack Eunice, Richmond Law, class of 2024.
Graduates and guests, please join me in saluting the graduating class of 2025. Let me briefly address the class of 2025. Each of you has worked very hard for this accomplishment, but you did not do so alone. You stood on the shoulders of parents and grandparents, spouses, siblings, and friends. I'd therefore like to ask the class of 2025 to rise, if you are able, and acknowledge all those people who did so much to get you here. This concludes the graduation ceremony. Will the mace bearer please come and retrieve the mace? Please remain seated for the recessional. Our new graduates will proceed to the reception outside on the ambulatory level of this building. Please join your graduates there. Ushers will direct you. Thank you and good afternoon.